Okay, so this video is going to be a quick rundown of your summer packet. Summer packets will include your calendar, your SAQ+C, which stands for speed, agility, quickness, and conditioning, and your lifting packet, obviously. If you are a returner watching this video, shame on you, probably because you didn't listen to me in the right room when I was explaining it. And if you're a newcomer, welcome to CBU. So yeah, let's get started real quick. So this will be your calendar. Should be very self-explanatory. It's just going to tell you what week you're on. And then each month, I'm going to have different notes in there, depending on the month and depending on what I need to say. And then the day will tell you what you're supposed to be doing that day. So day one lift plus conditioning, day two lift plus SAQ, recovery, day four, day five on there. I like to do it by day one, day two, day three, day four, day five. So when you get to day five, it's not necessarily lifting a fifth session. It's more so it's a fifth day of the week on there. If you need to break this up however you want to, because of your schedule, feel free to do so. I understand y'all are busy people, so if you need to break it up differently, feel free to do so. But as long as it's in its similar format, you're good. So like maybe moving a lift to Sunday or a conditioning to a Saturday, it's okay. You don't have to stick to the exact same format, but try and stay somewhere within this ballpark on there. Um, and this is going to be softballs packet, so some of y'all's might look a little different for there, but for the most part, it should be pretty similar. SAQ is going to be the first thing on there for y'all. So it's going to be week one, your session one, session two. So you go back to your calendar, it says SAQ1 and SAQ2. So if you go back here, session one, session two, that's how you break it up. Your drills or your starting stuff is going to be on YouTube. So like your wall drills and march progression, I'm going to post that on the YouTube page. If you don't know what that is, go to CBU_strength for Instagram, then go to the bio and it will lead you straight to the YouTube page for there. Quick plug for that. And then everything else, like your T-cone drill and 10-yard flies, I'll try to add notes into it, or you can just look it up on Google. That stuff should be self-explanatory on Google, but the other stuff might be a little bit complicated to understand. So that's why I'm going to make videos for that. So if there's some stuff you don't know, go to the YouTube page or the Instagram page. And if you still don't know what it is and you can't find it on Google, feel free to hit me up and I can help with that. So this is going to be a 13-week progression. And then if you go to this on there, this is going to kind of be the format of how I want you to follow. So you got your warm up first, obviously, and then your SAQ. So if you're on week 13, session two, you're going to do warm up. Then you're going to do this session, and then you go to cool down if you'd like to. The beauty about SAQ is I want you to try and do that before your lift. So you do your SAQ and then your lift. The goal of it is to be around 30, 45 minutes for SAQ and then 30, 45 minutes of lifting. And hopefully you're done with an hour, hour and a half on there. With conditioning, I would rather you do conditioning at the very end. I don't want you to do conditioning before lifting because you're going to be very taxed by it. But obviously, if you have to do it before, feel free to do it before. Also, you don't have to combine the two. You can separate them. So if you want to do SAQ or conditioning in the morning and then lifting in the afternoon, feel free to separate the two. But if you want to combine them, that's how you would combine it. SAQ, lifting, then conditioning. Excuse me. And then you go to your conditioning packet. So your session one, session two, exact same thing over here. Conditioning one, conditioning two. And so it's going to be the same thing on them. And then I try to add a lot of notes in there so you kind of understand what it is. But if you don't understand what it is, then feel free to hit me up, look it up on Google, or you can just switch it with a different conditioning thing that you know. The way I do the conditioning is one day is going to be more low pace, tempo, low heart rate, and then steady heart rate. And then the other one's going to be more fluctuating or a higher heart rate on there. So that's generally how I try and separate the two from each other. And then with the SAQ, I do the one day, session one will just generally be more acceleration and also change of direction. And session two will be more top end speed, so your max effort. The last thing on SAQ+C is to make sure that SAQ is true top end speed or true max effort. So 95, 100% effort with a lot of rest time. and your conditioning is going to be little to no rest time with more of a steady heart rate on there. And then at the very end, everyone has this VO2 max protocol sheet. It's just going to be extra conditioning if you want some extra conditioning to do on there. Okay, and then last thing is going to be your lifting packet. So the first thing on there is going to be your warm up. So if you already have your own warm up, feel free to do your own warm up if you're a newcomer. But this is going to be the warm up that we do inside the weight room. This is on the Instagram page, and I'm going to put it on the YouTube page as well. Then we got your pre-lifts, and then your post-lifts are following that. Pre-lift is going to consist of, since this is softball, volleyball, and baseball are going to have the same one. So it's going to consist of two core, three shoulder exercises, and then one hip. And then everybody else will have two core, two hips, and two shoulders. This is just corrective exercises, trying to get the body right, make sure you're in line, make sure everything's good, moving well. And then before you go into your lift, because I don't want to load you up with 90% of your max and you still feel like crap or you're moving like crap. So this is just to make sure you're moving well so we can make sure we're lifting some heavy weights once we need to. And then your post lift is going to be at the very end. I'm also going to try and post these on the Instagram page as well. So if you have questions, feel free to look on the Instagram page on there. For your post lift, I'm going to give you the green light to skip because I'm going to try and incorporate a lot of your exercises into your actual lift. So once you get to your post lift, if you've already seen some stuff and you're like, all right, I'm just going to skip it. That's okay with me. But I'd rather try and mix in some like your hip mobilization stuff or shoulder mobilization stuff, like your lat pull downs or your half kneeling side squat lifts. Um, and then this is going to be your scoreboard. Returner should know what it is. If you're a newcomer, feel free to use your own maxes. If you don't know what your max is, you can kind of go based on an RPE scale, but we use a lot of percentages inside the weight room. So this is going to be the structure of what a lift should look like. Okay. So this is exactly what it'll look like when you step into the weight room. Day one, there's going to be your A's, B's, and C's. So you start with your warm up, then your pre-lift, then you go through your A's. You're going to start with A1, one set, A2, one set, A3, then back to A1, A2, A3. You keep going back in a circuit till you're done. Then you go to your B's, same thing. Then your C's, then your post-lifts. So you start at the very top, work your way down, and then you should be done. So I want you to make sure you do your A's first, B's, and C's. So it's the exact same format for every single day on there. Now this is your bulk of your lifting packet. So I provided like a weak example of what it should look like, and then I just smushed it all together to make my life a whole lot easier. So looks very complicated, but it's actually pretty simple once you understand it. Okay, so it's going to be your day one, day two, day four, day five. So once you go to your calendar, day one, day two, day four, day five on there. I also try to add the dates that you're supposed to be doing it. So if you get to week two and you're like, it's 5/19, what day should I be doing day one on? Well, it says it right there. 5/19 is the day you should be doing day one for there. And then after you go to day one, you go to week one, then you're going to do eccentric dumbbell bench. So this is going to be your A1 for that day. Then you go to A2 at the very top, then A3, and do that as a superset or monster set. Then you go to your B's, B1, B2, B3, then C, C1, C2, C3, then D's, D1, D2, D3. And I added like a recovery and core at the very end. There's going to be where your post lift is or whatever you want to do at the very end. Then once you're done with the first day, you go to second day, week one, day one, or day two, week four, or day four, week one, and then day five, week one. Then you go back up to the top, week two, the next week three, next week four. Then when you're done with that, then you go on to your next month and do the exact same thing. A couple things before I shut up is first thing is this is going to be pretty simplified in terms of equipment that you're using. I try to make sure that I'm just making you use barbells and dumbbells, some med balls, because I know some people may not have access to the most fanciest stuff. So I try and keep it as simple as possible for people like that. But if you do have access to some pretty cool equipment, then feel free to switch something out. Like if you're doing let's see, Nordic curl. Okay. I also added hamstring curls in there. So you can either do this body weight or you can add a machine into there. So if you don't want to do Nordic curls, then feel free to do a hamstring machine thing, whatever you call it. I don't know what they're called. But anyways, so you can always switch something out with something different as long as it's within the same muscle group. I don't want you to do something completely different. Try and stick it with the same muscle group. Last two things is I like to give you ranges on your reps and sets. So this kind of allows you to fill out where you're feeling that day. So if you feel like crap, go in a lower range, and if you feel great, go in the upper range. And then the last thing is cluster sets. I abuse cluster sets a lot. So what it is, it's going to be where you do a certain amount of reps for your first cluster. So you do 3 reps, and then you rack the weight or you drop the weight. You wait 10 to 15 seconds and do another certain amount of reps. So on here, since it's in parentheses, you're going to do pause for 3 reps. So or 2 count pause at the bottom, back up, do that 3 times. Then you rack the weight, you wait 10 to 15 seconds, then you unrack it and do 2 more reps after that. Then for some people or some weeks, it will change. So this week it's 3 by 2. The next week will be 3 by 3. And it'll kind of progress forward or progress down based off that. So that's what cluster sets are. And that's what your summer lifting packet is going to look like. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on the Instagram page or by email, or you can hit your coach up and they can give you my number. Hopefully this helps, and I will see y'all later.